Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. I am your able host, Kyle Tinubu, and I'm joined on the line on the show and ready to discuss all of the relevant stories that we've compiled for you on the show. Gboyega. Good evening, Gbenga, all the way from
Good
Abuja.
evening. Good evening, Mukal. It's nice to be here. It's been a while, though.
Yeah, I felt that you're always busy. I'm always busy. Let's take a break from each other and see if we still like each other after.
Definitely. Now we do like each other.
All right. Of course, a lot has been going on in African football, and one of the main topics for today on the show is the fact that CAF, it seems to be reaching out into the international community, and this time around they've been reaching out to Saudi Arabia, trying to take advantage of the oil-rich nations, Gulf nations' ambitions to raise its GDP through sports investments all around the world. I was having a conversation on the last show with Victor Godfrey, and he said there's no reason for us to be hoping for, praying for, even necessarily depending on the Saudis to come in and invest in our own football, because they have pretty much the same kind of resource that we do, and we are just failing to take maximum advantage of it. But that goes beyond. This new investment opportunity goes beyond the shores of Nigeria. In fact, it is to do with all of Africa. And it seems CAF has gotten some commitment from Saudi Arabia. Back in May, there was discussions about a £200 million investment from Saudi Arabia into what is now going to be the African Football League. It is basically Africa's version of a super league, and it's going to try to raise the game both at a grassroots level but internationally as well. And it seems that CAF is seeking further help from Saudi Arabia, seeking further support in preparation for the inaugural edition of the African Football League. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has reached out to Saudi Arabia Football Federation for additional assistance. Saudi Arabia has emerged as a significant financial contributor in the global sports arena, particularly in football. And Africa has also reaped the benefits of this support, notably the African Super Cup match between Egypt's Al Ahly and Algeria's USM Algiers was hosted in Algeria, thanks in part to Saudi Arabia's involvement. As the African Football League approaches, CAF has extended its request to Saudi Arabia for further assistance. Specifically, CAF has sought the provision of semi-automatic video technology tools to aid in the detection of offside infractions and crucial decision-making during the competition. The African Football League, featuring Nigeria's champions, Enyimba International, is set to kick off on October 20th, 2023 in Tanzania. With the potential incorporation of semi-automatic video technology, the league aims to enhance the accuracy of officiating and provide a more fair and transparent competition. CAF has taken a proactive approach to technological advancements to improve the quality of competition and the overall football experience. It seems to me that now that we're in 2023, there's no excuse for even leagues in Africa to still be without VAR technology or any form of offside prevention technology that's meant to help the game be fairer, because the rest of the world has had this technology for years now. It's a part of almost every level of football in Europe. And there's no reason why at the very top of our league football that we shouldn't have the very best tools available to us. Talk to me about what this says about the deepening relationship between CAF and Saudi Arabia, and what it means if we continue to have to, I don't want to say grovel, but it seems when you're seeking support, when you're seeking help, you and the other party are not on the same footing, you're not on the same level, and you are the recipient of much greater support than you could possibly hope to repay. Talk to me about all of that.
Of course, like you said, we are seeking help from someone we think or we hope has more than us. There's that adage in the local parlance that says, follow who know road, right? So we know that the Saudis are the ones who know road when it comes to sponsorship, when it comes to financial resources. So I feel like you would how will I put it? CAF know what they have in hand right now. They know what they are about to offer. They know that the AFCON is.
Gbenga, sorry to cut you off. We're struggling to hear you. If it's possible, we'd like to hear you better. There is a lot of ambient noise in your vicinity. If it's possible to get away from that or to lower it, that would be fantastic. Meanwhile, I could say for sure that all of this reaching out to Saudi Arabia, because years and years ago, our CAF was constantly reaching out.
Can you hear me now? I'm back.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. So basically, to wrap up what I'm trying to say,
okay.
The Saudis did it first. We can remember back in 2021 when Chelsea played the final of the FIFA Club World Cup after they won the Champions League. They played it alongside Palmeiras. That was the first time the semi-automated offside technology was used. And guess what? So they started it, they've used it, and it's working for them. We know that in African football, for us to meet up to the global standard, meet up to European standard, we need to do what they do. We need to leverage on the technology. Goal line technology already exists. Why not leverage on semi-automatic offside technology? Then we can now start talking about VAR in subsequent times.
Not the perfect solution, but there hardly ever is a perfect solution. And I remember years ago when consideration about goal line technology was being raised, about employing the technology, a lot of old football heads were resistant to the change. And same went for VAR technology when it was being spoken about. Now we see that even though VAR technology is not perfect, it is offering a fairer picture of the football that we're witnessing in the world today. And if Africa is to level up and reach its potential, we must obviously be right there in the room, because right now we're begging or asking for support. But in the future, it would be beneficial if we are in the room at the same time when these conversations are being had, when these technologies are being talked about, being developed, then perhaps it can be spread out and delivered equally across across all of the footballing nations.
Yes, but further buttress your point, I think Africans, not just Nigeria, Africans generally, we've been playing reactive measures over time. Like we like to react to what the world is already used to. So it was in the Women's World Cup that I got to know that even Nigerian players, both men and women, do not belong to FIFPro. It was at the Women's World Cup I got to know. I didn't even know before. We don't have representation in FIFPro. We talk about Nigerians in FIFA. If not for Amaju Pinnick, who found his way there, who had to walk his way there, we really don't have Nigerian, even in CAF, right? The last time we were talking about referees that were selected for some African qualifiers, no Nigerian was selected, right? So that problem of inclusion has always been a thing. And if African football is to move forward, if Nigerian football is to move forward, we need to be ahead of our game. We need to get involved. When technology is being released, we need to be there. Not that when they've done it, then we now start asking for those who already have it to help us out. We don't need to be consumers anymore. We need to be part of the wholesalers.
Well, the Gulf nations, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, are taking bold steps into their foray into being active and important voices in football and in sports in general. Talk to me about how this sort of partnership can keep us at the top of or at the very front of the queue when we're talking about developments in sports and in football in general. Because I foresee that if we act like true friends, true allies in this, Saudi Arabia, Africa as a whole, if we act together as allies, then the kinds of investment that the Saudis are willing to push, it might very well be have its own trickle-down benefit to us as direct partners going into each of these discussions.
Yeah, so while we are happy about the development, while we are happy about the sponsorship, I think we should also be careful to underline the fact that we've not shown ourselves worthy enough when it comes to contracts. I remember when the Nigerian Football Federation, we are signing contracts for our current Super Eagles coach, Jose Pesero. Imagine giving somebody a contract that elapses the time frame of his tenure. They're giving somebody a 1-year contract from May to June, and in the contract, he's supposed to also partake in AFCON, that is about a year after his tenure. The same thing with World Run. Look at the NPFL, for example. It's supposed to have resumed since the 9th of September. This is the 25th of September, and it is yet to resume. The excuse of the committee is that sponsorship issues are yet to be ironed out. GTI, PlusTvAfrica, Star Times, the guys who are supposed to come together to make Nigerian football available for views and streaming. I think generally we have not shown ourselves worthy enough when it comes to aligning contracts, when it comes to putting pen to paper. So that is where my own skepticism is coming from. If you are going to align with the Saudis, who don't just have money, they also know how to use their money, the contracts we sign will be very crucial.
If 200 million pounds is any indication, the Saudis are very serious. How much more serious do we need to be to show that we're worthy partners to them in Africa?
Initially, start from the contract, the way you present your contracts, the objectives you hope to achieve. See, at the end of the day, football is a business.
Besides contract, the kinds of resource that we would be willing to put, how much manpower, how much money must we be ready to commit to such an endeavor? Because if they, as a single nation, are dropping 200 million pounds, I don't want to say that we have to do better than them, but if we want to be seen as serious, beyond the words that are written down on a contract, beyond any reasonable attempts to fulfill those contractual terms, what kinds of resources must we bring to bear to show that we're serious and to show that we are worthy of being carried along in the future on any discussions that the Saudis want to take part in to promote and boost sports in their country and in their involvement in sports in general around the world?
Yeah, like you mentioned, human resources is one of them, talking about human capital. I remember a few weeks ago, almost a month ago, when the new sports minister came into office, Senator John Onwa. He made a tour at the National Stadium with fellow journalists that happened to be there. What we also noticed was when we got to the VIP lounge room, there were a couple of referees, about 50 of them, having a seminar. Now, that seminar was in preparation for the new domestic league, for the new footballing season, and probably for CAF competitions coming forth. So in that aspect, we see that when it comes to human resources, we are trying our best. We are holding seminars and we are building, we are instilling information. But when it comes to financial resources, again, that is where we lack. I really don't know the budget of football from the sports ministry, budget of NBA from the sports ministry. Now we are talking football. Let's not even go far. Football involving the CAF, involving African Football League. what is the budget from the sports ministry to that effect? What is the allowance from CAF to that effect? What is the allowance from each federation that would participate in the African Football League? Because it's looking like the African Football League is like a grant. So any nation that is picked, just come and participate. You as a participating member, what do you bring to the table? So aside from human resources, which I think we are trying our best, I really haven't seen any other measures being put forward yet.
Well, hopefully, the African Football League will be a stepping stone to bigger and better occurrences and changes in the way we do and participate in football in Africa as a whole. £100 million is up for grabs, so there's a lot of money to motivate the players.
Yeah, I heard it's actually 150. I saw a notice put out today by the spokesperson of the MPFL committee, and he said they are working on making it 150 million naira. One of the reasons why the league is yet to start, actually, plus other discussions around the sponsorship. So I think last season was also 150. My point is, away from the prize money, we need to start thinking ahead. We need to start thinking beyond prize money, start talking about how clubs can improve their welfare. I mean, in 2023, we are still talking about salary being owed, not just to players, but also to backroom staffs and also the coaches. These are the things that need to be eradicated before we can move forward.